So you had befriended a person, and when you befriended this person, the two of you became attached at the hip. You all became very, very close. You spent a lot of time together. You were talking a lot with each other. You really were, you guys were around each other a lot, okay? And there were a lot of things that you and this person had in common. You two were very compatible. That's why you were able to spend so much time with each other, because this was a good person for you to, you know, exchange energies with, bounce ideas off of. Like, it was very reciprocal energy, and conversations were great. This was a great person to be around. You and this person were very, very compatible. There were a lot of things that you all had in common. And you were very like fond of this person. Like, you really loved them, you really liked them, you really cared about them. You probably like, what I'm feeling is that you and this person are no longer friends. And I'm going to get into the fallout of your all's friendship. But even to this day, you feel like you still love this person. You still care for them. You still have, some level of respect for them. But at the same time, you know that the friendship can never be rekindled. It can never be the same between the two of you. And you know that you have to just leave this person be, let them go, let them move on with their life as you move on with yours. However, this friendship ended on very much of a sour note. Like, it did not end well, it ended pretty badly. And there wasn't time for you guys to, you all didn't get a chance to have a conversation, to seek closure, to like really talk about what happened. It was just very explosive. There was like arguments that happened. It was a blowout. You guys left, and then you just didn't speak to each other again. I am here to tell you what happened with this friendship. So first, I want to say that this person, there's a lot that went into this. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. One, this person had gotten close to you, and they really, really liked you. They really loved you. They really cared about you. You were like, it's like you guys were like two peas in a pod. Like, this person really enjoyed your company. That's why they always wanted to be around you. They found comfort in your energy. They found solace in your presence. That's why they, wanted to be around you so much. And they knew they felt safe with you. They knew they felt comfortable with you. Now, this person is a neurotypical, okay? You, who I'm talking to, you may be neurodivergent. I'm definitely feeling a huge chunk of you are neurodivergent. However, some of you that are receiving this message are also neurotypical, and you're not neurodivergent, but you are a little different. You may be more introverted, or you may have like always been a little socially awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you're not necessarily neurodivergent. Maybe you have ADHD, and maybe you are just a little socially awkward at times. You could be a little quirky. You could be a little, like eccentric. Like, you're different. You're just yourself. You know what I'm saying? And because of your differences, and thank you, Spirit, and because of your idiosyncrasies, because you are so different and you do things differently, you may speak different. You may have a different set of interests, or because you have these moments where you have been socially awkward, or you may not always want to socialize with people. Like, maybe when you get into large crowds, you don't want to you don't want to have a bunch of people talking to you. You don't want to talk to a bunch of people. Like, you could sit like in you could be at like a party or like a kickback or a little gathering, but there's a bunch of people, a bunch of peers, and you are over here just sitting down chilling, like in a little spot by yourself, chilling, probably like with your little ganja, or maybe with your little bottle, or whatever the case is, with your cup, whatever, and you're just chilling. You're listening to the music, you're vibing, you're doing your own thing. You're not the type where you like to draw attention to yourself. You're not the type where you want a bunch of people approaching you and trying to talk to you. You're not going to parties or kickbacks and stuff like that to be like chose by a man or by a woman. Like, you're not trying to get chose. Like, you're not trying to like get all that attention drawn to you. However, You are the type of person where you naturally draw attention because of your energy, because of your aura, because of your presence. It's powerful, it's magnetizing. And then on top of that, you are very physically attractive. So people look at you and they're like, it's like they can't take their eyes off you at times. And you're the type of person where you draw attention. You're not seeking attention, but you draw attention because people are drawn to you. This friend of yours saw that you got a lot of attention, probably around the same amount that they would get, or maybe more attention that they would get, and you probably got the attention that they wanted. However, you didn't even want the attention, but they did. And they're looking at you having something that they want, that they don't have, that you have. And they're looking at you like, you have what I want, and you're not even using it correctly. If I would have been you, I would be sitting up here trying to talk to other people, trying to get some dudes' numbers, trying to like keep my options open. Or women's number, I would do whatever. If I was you, if I looked like you, I would not just be sitting here just chilling and being to myself and being in my own little world. I would be out here mingling with other people. If I looked like you, if I had that type of energy, you see, they compared themselves to you. They talk about what they would do if they were in your shoes, but you are two totally different people. And I'm getting that this person is not, and I'm going to say it like it is, this person is not the most conventionally attractive person. Like this person, this friend of yours is confident. Like they're very confident, but you don't have to be the most attractive person. You don't have to be the most beautiful or the most handsome to be confident. This person is not the most conventionally attractive, okay? They know that they have friends with of people that look better than them. However, their confidence is so powerful and their confidence is so strong that people tend to look past the fact that they are not the most conventionally attractive. So the reason why this person had some envy towards you is because they were bothered by the fact that you have natural beauty. You are naturally pretty. You are naturally beautiful, naturally handsome, and that you don't have to try as hard to be pretty, to be handsome. You don't have to go out and put a bunch of makeup on and do all this stuff extra to you because you're just so naturally beautiful or naturally handsome. And this person feels like they don't have that natural beauty. So there were things that they were just secretly envious about, and eventually stuff like that just came to the forefront. Another thing is that for those of you that are neurodivergent, you have had moments where you were very high masking, but you had moments where the mask completely fell off and you were unmasking and you were unknowingly unmasking. And as you were unknowingly unmasking and you were being your authentic autistic self, meaning you're not socializing, you're not in the in crowd, you're not with the group, you are just in your own little world, your own zone, doing your own thing because socializing is difficult, socializing is overwhelming, and being around a large group of people is overwhelming. So you have had moments where your mask has slipped and you did things that an autistic person would do, basically. And from people that are like from that are not neurodivergent, they will look at what you do and they would think that's odd, that's weird, that's different. Why are you doing that? And that's how this friend was looking at you in certain incidences when your mask completely slipped. Why are they being weird? Why are they being odd? Why are they being so different? Why are they, that's just so weird. And it bothered them because they are they are ableist in a way. They have some ableism within them because they look at people with disabilities, people that do odd things, and they get mad at the person for doing that because watching them do things that are out of the norm makes them uncomfortable. And that's what makes them ableist. So the thing is, this person had developed such a strong friendship with you and they created such a bond with you before they knew that you were different, that you were neurodivergent, for some of you that are neurodivergent. And then when they found out, when they finally like pieced it together and they're like, you know what, I really think that you are on the spectrum. It's like this, those of you that are autistic, they peeped that you were on the spectrum before you even knew this. And they were basically embarrassed of you. They were embarrassed of the fact that they had befriended an autistic person because they are ableist and they feel like they are too cool to hang with autistic people. They feel like they're too good to hang with them, to be friends with them. And to find out that they got so close to somebody that they feel like they are cooler than, they had the ick within themselves. They were embarrassed. They just felt like they were better than that. They were too cool for that. And they wondered, how could they be friends with somebody like you? Part two. Part two to why this friendship fell out, why you didn't really get any closure. Another thing about this friend I left off in part one is that for those of you that are neurodivergent and you are autistic, this friend of yours, they were able to catch on to the fact that you are on the spectrum before you even knew, no scratch confirmation, before you even knew that you were on the spectrum. Before you came to that awareness, before you awakened to the fact that you were on the spectrum, this friend of yours basically peeped it before you did. They were able to see it. And because they see you as someone on the spectrum, they view people on the spectrum differently. They have their own perspective. They think that people on the spectrum are just all around weird and just odd, and they just don't want to be around them. However, they were shown that people on the spectrum come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and characters, and that no two autistic people are the same. Every autistic person is different. And they had to awaken and expand their minds to realize that autism is not just what I think it is or how I see it. Autism is very broad and vastly different. And I can be having a conversation with an autistic person without even realizing it. I could be friends with an autistic person without even realizing it because the thing is, autism is a spectrum. There are certain levels to this shit. Some people's autism are very, very salient. It's so obvious. Just one look at them and you can tell that they are autistic. You are the type, upon first glance at you, you do not look like you are autistic. That's why a lot of people had trouble believing that you were autistic because they say, you don't even look autistic, but you are. And this person basically felt like if you were autistic, they would have picked it up well before they picked it up. Like they felt like they should have been picked it up and figured that out. But it took them a while to catch on to the fact that you are autistic because one, you are a high functioning autistic, and two, you are high masking. You learn how to mask so well without even realizing that you were masking. And this person, when there basically was like something that you did. It wasn't like one thing, but there was a collection of things that you had done over time that they were just very observant about, and they kind of like gave you this face, like puzzled look, like why is that, why would. And then eventually it got to a point where your mask had completely slipped and you were just being your authentic self, your authentic autistic self, authentically autistic, fuck, sorry. Once that mask had slipped, maybe it was in a moment where you were inebriated and you weren't sober. Because I'm thinking that a lot of times when autistic people are not sober, they tend to be their regular selves when they were masking. Like if they mask a lot and then you're not sober and you're inebriated, the mask will naturally just slip off, you know. But when you are unmasking, then it's different from when you're not sober because like you already were being your authentic self, you know. But something happened where you were around this friend of yours and you guys weren't sober, you were inebriated, and basically you showed how your autism was so obvious that this person was able to see it, and something that you did just made this friend of yours feel so uncomfortable. Because they felt so uncomfortable, they were thinking like something's wrong with you, something's got to be seriously wrong with you. And then it's like they had a conversation with you and they're basically calling you out like, why would you do this, why are you doing all of this, I feel like you're on the spectrum, I feel like you're this is odd, this is weird, why are you acting like this. And they were so mad, they were so bothered. And why they were so mad and so bothered is because they were projecting their own ableism onto you. At that point, they didn't give you as enough grace. They didn't give you compassion or patience or gentleness. They were very rude and blunt and direct with you because they were just, they were so uncomfortable with what you were doing because of their ableism. And because they were uncomfortable, now they had to come over here and make you uncomfortable. And you all had like a conversation and they're just questioning why you're doing certain things. And basically, you're telling this person, like, you're asking them, well, why does it matter? Why do you care so much about what I'm doing with myself? I'm not harming anybody. I'm not bothering anybody. All I'm doing is staying to myself, minding my own business. Why are you so bothered by me minding my own business? And that's when they said, because if I were to have this energy and attractiveness like you, I would not just be sitting here by myself. And I feel like you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your beauty, you're wasting yourself by not allowing people to just ogle over you, basically. This person basically just didn't understand how someone as attractive as you could not want to receive all of this attention when they know that they are the person that likes attention. So they were bothered by the fact that they feel like you're not using what they would use if they had it. And then another thing is that because you made them so uncomfortable with something that you did that was showing how you are autistic, they basically felt embarrassed to be friends with you. And this was the moment where they really started being embarrassed of you. Like, they were embarrassed to be friends with you because they're like, why would I be friends with someone that acts like that? Like, that's just that's embarrassing. And I'm sorry. They felt so embarrassed, and they felt like they no longer wanted to be friends with you. They didn't want to be friends with you anymore because they were so embarrassed of you. And they were also embarrassed with themselves because they're like, how could I? They were more frustrated with themselves because they're like, how could I not pick up any sooner that this person was neurodivergent? And because they feel like they're too cool to hang with people like that, they thought like, am I some lame because I'm hanging with somebody that's autistic? And then it's like, no, you're not a lame, because this person may be autistic, but they're not lame. Like, they're cool as hell. They're down to earth. Like, what's the problem? And it's like, because it's like, before they knew that you were autistic, they looked at you a certain way and they had this great reverence towards you. But once they attached autism, that's when they started to look at you in a negative light, in a worse way, because of how they view autism. This is what was kind of like the kickoff for the downhill of you all's friendship. Because after this person really started switching up with how they treated you. They were less patient with you. They were more aggressive with you. They were more mean towards you because they felt like they could be. And they were so embarrassed of themselves because they were embarrassed to be friends with a person that's neurodivergent, or just someone that's just different, just eccentric or weird, as they would say. This person also didn't like the fact that, like, you stayed to yourself a lot and that you were in your own world and in your own zone. They just felt that that was odd because it's something that they wouldn't do. And basically, this person was comparing themselves to you, and they're like, they didn't understand how you could be so unapologetically yourself, even if it seems odd or weird to other people. They didn't give a, like, you didn't give a fuck how you were perceived by people. But this person cares about how they are being perceived. So when they see someone not giving a fuck how they're being perceived and they're being a little weird, it bothered them because they're like, how can you be so confident in yourself that you can do that? And this person, they're confident, of course, with themselves, but they also have some deeply seated insecurities where they have to perform a certain way to keep up that facade of a confidence because they don't want to be perceived as someone being insecure or odd or weird. They care so much about how other people think about them. And because you didn't, that was another thing that bothered them. So their envy for you just grew stronger. And you basically were friends with this person, and you all had a great bond, But there was a lot of envy that was there. And once the envy came to the surface, that's what dismantled your friendship.